My name's Jason. I'm 27, and if I could go back in time and punch myself in the face the day I met her, I probably would. That one moment? It derailed my life like a train off broken tracks, and I didn't even see it coming. Before continue, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. That's free and only way to support us. Thank you. It was supposed to be a normal Saturday. I'd just gotten off a brutal week working double shifts at the warehouse. My back felt like it had been rearranged by a gorilla, and my only plan was coffee, quiet, and pretending I had my life together. I ended up at this little indie coffee shop downtown, the kind with mismatched chairs and baristas who act like they're saving the world one oat milk latte at a time. And that's where I saw her. Amber. You ever see someone and instantly feel like they could ruin your life just by breathing near you? That was her. Blonde hair pulled up in a messy bun, tight jeans that looked custom-made for her curves, a leather jacket that screamed bad decisions, and this smirk, like she already knew what kind of damage she was about to do. She caught me staring. Not in a creepy way, just helpless. And instead of looking away like a normal person, she raised her brow like she was challenging me. Then she walked straight over to my table and said something that should have set off every alarm in my head. She said I looked like someone who didn't get enough sleep. Or enough love. I laughed. Nervously. She smiled. Like a cat playing with a mouse. And then she sat down. Just invited herself into my space like she'd known me for years. That should have been red flag number one. But I was too busy staring at her lips and forgetting how to think. We talked. And by talked, I mean she asked the kind of questions therapists charge $200 an hour for. She got personal fast: childhood, trauma, past relationships, fears, dreams. Stuff I hadn't said out loud in years, just started pouring out like someone opened a broken faucet inside me. And she listened intensely, like she genuinely cared. I was hooked before I even finished my second coffee. Amber became part of my life like smoke slipping through a crack in the door. Before I knew it, she was everywhere. Texting me first thing in the morning. Showing up at my apartment with takeout. Laughing at my jokes like I was the funniest guy on earth. I thought I'd hit the jackpot. But something about her never fully added up. She didn't talk much about her past. Her answers were vague, inconsistent. One day she said she was in marketing, the next day she was freelancing. She never let me follow her on social media, said it was too toxic. And she always changed the subject when I asked about her family. I should have paid more attention. It started small. She said her rent was overdue, so I loaned her a few $100. Then her car broke down. Then her uncle was in the hospital. Then her startup needed investment. I kept giving, thinking I was helping, thinking we were building something real. What I didn't realize was, she wasn't building a life with me. She was building a trap. Every dollar, every hour, every bit of myself I gave her, she took like it was owed to her. And she gave just enough affection to keep me on the hook. A kiss here. A night wrapped in each other. Then 3 days of silence. No explanation. Then back again, like nothing happened. She had this insane power to make me feel like I was both her hero and her hostage. And when I questioned anything, she flipped it. Said I didn't trust her. Said I was insecure. I started apologizing for things I didn't even do. I started doubting my own instincts. I thought I was falling in love. I was actually getting played harder than a scratched-up piano in a pawn shop. Looking back, I wasn't dating Amber. I was feeding a wolf in a designer dress, and I had no clue the kind of hell she was about to drag me through. But that was just the start. The real madness? The betrayal? The revenge? That came later. I thought I knew heartbreak before Amber. Thought I'd been through enough to be immune to games. But what she did, that wasn't just heartbreak. That was psychological warfare dressed in perfume and high heels. Things started shifting fast. The girl who once couldn't go a day without hearing my voice suddenly started taking hours, sometimes days, to respond. I'd call and it'd go straight to voicemail. I'd ask if everything was okay, and she'd snap at me like I was the one acting crazy. Said she was going through stuff, and I should just support her without asking too many questions. Support her? I was practically her emotional crutch, financial ATM, and punching bag rolled into one. But I stayed. Like a fool. You know why? Because when she did show me love, it felt like magic. Like everything else in life faded, and she was the only thing in color. It's scary how easy it is to ignore red flags when you're busy dreaming in pink. Then one weekend, she vanished. No texts. No calls. Nothing. Friday came and went. Saturday too. By Sunday, I was halfway to a mental breakdown. I went to her apartment, lights off, door locked. I messaged her best friend, some girl named Megan who never really liked me, and she just said Amber was going through something personal. That was it. No details. No timeline. Like I was supposed to sit still and wait for her to resurface like a damn ghost. When she finally reappeared on Monday, she acted like nothing happened. No explanation. No apology. Just waltzed into my apartment with Thai food and a new lipstick shade like she hadn't just emotionally waterboarded me for 72 hours. I asked her where she was. She rolled her eyes and said, "Don't start." That was her go-to phrase. Don't start. Like having basic respect and communication was asking too much. I should have kicked her out right then. But instead, I let her stay the night. And the next. And the next. Because I still loved her. Or at least, I thought I did. Until I started noticing more cracks in the mask. Her phone? Always on silent. Always flipped face down. She'd take it into the bathroom, the kitchen, even when grabbing a glass of water. Once, I caught her smiling at a message, and when I asked who it was, she laughed and said, "You're so paranoid." Then changed her passcode. Again. I wasn't being paranoid. I was being lied to. I started doing the one thing I swore I'd never do in a relationship. I started checking her stuff when she slept. Desperate times, right? And what I found. Let's just say it made my stomach turn. She had another guy saved under the name Ashley. Texts, pictures, voice notes. Some of them sent the same day she told me she was too sick to come over. Turns out she wasn't sick. She was just busy playing house with someone else. I sat there, phone in hand, watching the woman I loved breathe peacefully beside me, while her lies lit up the screen like fireworks on the 4th of July. I didn't wake her. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just stared at the ceiling and let the truth hit me in slow, suffocating waves. She didn't love me. She never did. I wasn't her partner. I was her backup plan, her safety net, her emotional sponge. She took everything from me, my time, my money, my trust, and fed it to someone else behind my back. You'd think that's the moment I left. Nope. I was still stupid. Still trying to believe there was an explanation. That maybe I was misunderstanding. That maybe love could still fix this. What a joke. The truth was, Amber wasn't broken. She was a professional, a master manipulator. And I was just another name on her list of suckers. But the thing about guys like me? We don't stay stupid forever. Something snapped in me that night. I didn't say a word. Didn't confront her. I just smiled, let her stay, kissed her forehead when she left in the morning. And then I started planning. I wasn't going to walk away with nothing. No, I was going to take something from her. Something bigger than money. I was going to take control. She made my life hell. Now it was my turn to light the match. The hardest part about revenge? Pretending everything's fine when you're boiling inside. But I did it. I became a damn Oscar-worthy actor. Smiled when I wanted to scream. Cooked for her. Massaged her back. Sent her, "I miss you," texts with fingers that wanted to type, "I know you're a lying piece of trash." I needed her to trust me again. To feel safe. Because revenge isn't served cold. It's served unnoticed. Meanwhile, I was collecting receipt. Literally. I backed up everything on her phone, photos, messages, voicemails, took screenshots and stored them in a private Google Drive titled, "Dog Food." Yeah, I have a dark sense of humor when I'm heartbroken. Sue me. But here's the twist, the other guy? His name was Tyler. From what I could tell, some self-proclaimed entrepreneur with a podcast no one listened to. Gym selfies, fake Rolex, motivational quotes with spelling errors. The usual modern clown. Amber was juggling us both, telling him she wanted to run away together, while asking me to help her with rent and pretending she was emotionally healing. You'd think I'd explode. But nah. I got calm. Too calm. When you go quiet like that, you become dangerous. I stopped being her fool. I became her shadow. I started noticing everything. The lies in her tone. The shift in her energy. The way she turned her phone off when she was around me, not to be respectful, but because she knew any vibration could expose her. But now? I had her pattern memorized. Mondays and Thursdays, girls' night with Megan. Total lie. Megan was actually dating someone in another state and hadn't been in town for weeks. Wednesdays, therapy. Cute. Except I tracked down the actual clinic she claimed to go to, and guess what? They didn't even take new clients this year. Fridays? Fridays were me time. She'd get dressed in the kind of outfit that screamed adultery, tell me she was too tired for a date, then vanish till 2 a.m. I once followed her in my cousin's car. Yeah, it sounds insane. But when you've been burned to ash, you get desperate for the truth. She wasn't at a spa. She was at Tyler's condo. I watched them from the street. They kissed like they had nothing to lose. Funny, right? I gave her everything. And she gave someone else my spot. That night I drove home in silence. No music. No tears. Just this eerie calm, like something inside me finally died, and something much darker took its place. I didn't want her back anymore. I wanted her exposed. But not just to Tyler. No. That would be too easy. I wanted her world to collapse. I wanted her to feel the exact shame, betrayal, and emptiness she made me choke on. I was done being the nice guy. Nice guys finish last? Screw that. Nice guys get played. So I started working my plan like it was a full-time job. First step? Make her trust me more than ever. So I faked guilt. Said I was sorry for being distant. Said I'd been insecure because I'd been cheated on before and I was projecting. She ate it up like cake, smiled sweetly and said, "That's so brave of you to admit." Yeah, babe. Real brave. Meanwhile, I started recording every call, every word, every lie, and then I found something even juicier. Amber had another guy. Yeah. Not one, two. This one was named Brandon. Married. 2 kids. She was seeing a freaking married man while juggling Tyler and me. At that point, I didn't feel pain anymore. I felt fascination. What kind of creature does that and sleeps like a baby? But it made my job easier. Because now I had something she couldn't deny. I was no longer just a victim. I was sitting on enough dirt to bury her. And I hadn't even started. I just smiled, kissed her on the forehead, and told her I loved her. Because nothing stings like betrayal. But nothing hits harder than betrayal served with a grin. You know the wild thing about revenge? It's not loud. It's quiet. Surgical. Clean. It's not about throwing a tantrum or slashing tires in the middle of the night. No, that's what amateurs do. My version of revenge? It was going to be quiet enough to make her question her own reality. Loud enough to leave a mark that would never heal. So I played along. Smiled like nothing was wrong. Let her believe she still had me wrapped around her finger. While she was busy juggling her lies, I was busy laying traps. First, I created a fake account. Tyler style. Gym rat. Beard. Crypto bro same energy. I made Jake the ideal rebound. The kind of guy Amber couldn't resist. I knew her type now. And it wasn't about love. It was about ego. Jake slid into her DMs. And surprise, surprise, she bit. While she was lying next to me, she was texting Jake, telling him how her current guy was getting boring. That she needed something exciting again. I read every word while lying right beside her, pretending to be asleep. I should have been angry. But I was beyond that. You don't feel angry at a mosquito. You just wait for the right time to slap the life out of it. While Jake was reeling her in, I started phase 2. I reached out to Brandon's wife. Took me 3 minutes of basic internet creeping to find her Instagram. Happy family photos, clueless smiles, and #blessed captions. I slid into her inbox with a simple message. Hey, you don't know me, but I think your husband is dating someone named Amber. Thought you should know. She didn't believe me at first. Said I was probably just a troll. So I sent screenshot. Of text. Of Amber calling Brandon, daddy. Of dates. Of hotel bookings. 10 minutes later, she replied. Oh my God. I told her everything. Every little dirty secret Amber had tried to keep buried. She cried. Then she thanked me. Then she blocked me. Fair enough. I wasn't doing it for applause. I was doing it because Amber had ruined my peace. And now, it was her turn to suffer in silence. And Tyler? Oh sweet Tyler. I had a surprise lined up for him too. See, one night Amber told me she was going to stay with her mom for a few days. Family emergency, she said. She even cried to sell it. I nodded, kissed her goodbye, and waited exactly 4 hours before hopping into my cousin's Jeep and following her GPS location. Yeah, I'd installed a tracker weeks ago. Petty? Maybe. Effective? You bet. She wasn't with her mom. She was with Tyler. At his apartment. Again. That was the night I uploaded everything, screenshots, audio, photos, to a secret page called Amber Files. Private for now. But not for long. Because what Amber didn't know was that Tyler had a corporate job. A cushy little gig at a conservative firm that valued morals and public image. So I wrote an anonymous email. Didn't say a word. I was almost ready to become her lesson. But I wanted one last thing. I wanted her to confess. Not to me. To herself. To say out loud who she really was. Attached the file. Just clicked send. And sat back. Let the fire start on its own. Meanwhile, Amber kept texting Jake, the fake version of me, trying to set up a hotel meetup. So guess what I did? I booked it. Got the suite. Decorated it. Set the mood just right. But she wouldn't find Jake there. She'd find something better. Or worse. Depending on how you look at it. The pieces were almost in place. I was nearly done being her toy. Because deep down, I think she knew. I just needed to give her a mirror. And baby, that mirror was coming. You ever watch someone dig their own grave and smile while doing it? That was Amber. She thought she was still winning. Still in control. Still playing her little 3-player game like she was the queen on a chessboard. But what she didn't know. She was already checkmated. She just hadn't seen it yet. That weekend, she showed up at my place, acting like nothing happened. Same perfume. Same fake affection. Same lies. She kissed me like I was a place she visited just to keep her story straight. She told me she was exhausted from family drama and needed to recharge with someone who understood her. I nodded, made her a drink, watched her scroll through Instagram, double-tapping bikini pics while lying in my bed wearing nothing but her fake innocence. Meanwhile, my phone buzzed. It was Tyler. Or rather, a screenshot from Tyler's company HR email confirming his suspension pending investigation. Apparently, someone had leaked sensitive material that could damage the firm's public image. I smiled and took a sip of my own drink. Small victories. But I wasn't done. The real moment I'd been waiting for was Monday. Amber was supposed to meet Jake at the suite. She thought she was walking into another secret hookup. Instead, she walked into a room with a projector screen, a chilled bottle of her favorite wine, and a note that said, "You like watching others hurt. Let's flip the script." She texted me the second she saw it. Her messages were all over the place. "Where are you? What is this? Is this some kind of joke?" But the best part? She didn't know where I was. I wasn't answering. I wasn't playing her game anymore. I was holding the damn controller now. Inside the hotel room, there was a flash drive plugged into the TV. Guess what was on it? All of it. The messages. The audio recordings. The voice notes where she told Tyler she was only using me until he got promoted. The nudes she sent Brandon while sitting next to me during movie night. The receipts of every lie, every betrayal, every disgusting thing she thought I'd never find out. 10 minutes of pure, unfiltered, undeniable truth. And the last video? Was me. Sitting in my room, looking right into the camera, telling her she's been caught. That the game was over. That the damage was already done. That the bridges were burned. That her little empire of lies had just collapsed. And I ended it with 4 words. You deserve every second. She left the hotel in silence. Didn't even check out. Just walked into the parking lot looking like she saw a ghost, which, honestly, she kinda did. The ghost of every lie she ever told. That night, she didn't call me. Didn't text. She just disappeared again. But not like before. This time, it wasn't calculated. It was panic. I waited. 2 days. 3. And then, boom. Megan texted me. Apparently, Amber had an emotional breakdown. Said someone hacked her life. Claimed she was being harassed and emotionally abused. The irony nearly gave me a nosebleed. The girl who bled me dry, who gaslit me for a year and juggled 3 men like a circus act, was now playing victim because the truth bit her back. What did I do? Nothing. I said nothing. Silence was the only thing left to say. I wasn't interested in a screaming match. I didn't want closure. I didn't want tears. I wanted her to sit in the ruin she created and realize she messed with the wrong guy. And no, I didn't report her to the police. I didn't leak the video publicly. I'm not that guy. I don't need her reputation to be destroyed. Just her comfort, her confidence, her control. And judging by the radio silence, mission accomplished. The queen had fallen. And the fool? He walked away smiling. I used to think closure came with a conversation. Some final words, a confession, maybe even an apology. Turns out, closure is just the moment you stop giving a damn. After everything exploded, I expected Amber to come crawling back, maybe crying, maybe screaming, maybe trying to twist the story and make herself the victim like she always did. But what I got? Silence. And I'll be honest, that silence was delicious. I heard things through the grapevine. Megan told a mutual friend that Amber had completely shut down. That she deleted all her socials, quit her job, even moved out of her apartment. Poof, gone. The girl who once couldn't go a day without broadcasting her fake life on Instagram had vanished like smoke in the wind. Meanwhile, I was sleeping better than I had in months. Funny how peace hits different when the parasite's gone. One night, weeks later, I was cleaning out my closet and found one of her hoodies. Oversized maroon with a coffee stain on the sleeve. The kind she used to wear when she wanted to look innocent after a fight. I stared at it for a second, then laughed. You know what I did? I used it to wipe the toilet. It felt symbolic, and honestly kind of poetic. I threw it in a trash bag with the last of her stuff and dumped it. No ceremony. No rage. Just done. But the craziest part of it all? The revenge didn't even feel like revenge anymore. It felt like closure I had to carve out with my own 2 hands. I didn't just burn the bridge. I built a better one without her. I focused on myself again. Started going to the gym. Not because of her, for me. Picked up side gigs. Got promoted. Even started smiling for real again. I was no longer the guy waiting on love. I became the man she could never break again. And then, like clockwork, she texted. Out of nowhere. From a new number. Short message. No emojis. Hey, can we talk? That was it. 3 dots and a plea. My thumb hovered over the screen. For a second I almost replied. Almost. But I didn't. I didn't need to. She didn't deserve a reply. She deserved the silence. That was her real punishment. Not exposure. Not revenge. Not drama. Just the reality that I moved on. Without her. That I healed in the space she destroyed. She made my life hell. And I let her. But I also ended it. Not with fists. Not with revenge porn. Not with bitterness. I ended it with growth. With strength. With the version of me she never thought would rise again. And here's the truth no one wants to admit. Sometimes the best revenge is rebuilding in silence. She lost me. She lost control. She lost the power. And now? I live rent-free in her memory, while she fades from mine. I wish I could say everything went back to normal after that. But honestly, nothing goes back to normal after someone takes a chainsaw to your soul. There's no clean reset. No magic switch. No Hollywood fade to black with soft piano music and a fresh haircut. It's messy. The healing. The silence. The realization that you gave your whole self to someone who treated your love like a temporary rental. But still. Healing began. Not in grand gestures. Not in revenge fantasies. Just in quiet, awkward, painfully slow step. Like not checking her socials every morning. Like walking by that coffee shop where we first met, and not feeling like someone punched me in the gut. Like deleting her number without hesitation. That one took a while. For weeks I kept it. Told myself it was for closure, but it was just fear. Fear that I'd forget her voice, or worse, forget that I ever mattered to her. But one night I was scrolling and saw it again. Amber, I stared at it. And then? I pressed delete. No ceremony. No breath held. Just a name. Gone. That was the moment I realized I wasn't angry anymore. Not bitter. Not broken. Just done. Completely. I started getting pieces of myself back. The small ones. The ones I didn't even realize she had stolen. Like laughing out loud again, the real kind, not that fake social chuckle. Like sleeping through the night without my chest feeling like it was being crushed by guilt I didn't even earn. Like looking in the mirror and not seeing a fool, but a survivor. That was big. Because, for the longest time, I felt stupid. Embarrassed. Ashamed for falling so hard and trusting so blindly. But the truth is, Amber didn't break me because I was weak. She broke me because I loved hard. I gave everything. And yeah, it nearly destroyed me. But it also taught me everything. I learned to listen to the red flags instead of painting them white. I learned that love without honesty is just manipulation in costume. I learned that boundaries aren't selfish, they're necessary. And I learned that when someone shows you who they are, you believe them. The first time, there were nights I still dreamed about her. Not in a romantic way, more like flashbacks. Like echoes from a bad trip I hadn't fully flushed out. But they stopped eventually. And when they did, I didn't miss her. I missed who I thought she was. There's a big difference. I started talking to someone new. Slowly. Cautiously. Like dipping your foot into water you used to drown in. Her name was Emily. She wasn't flashy. She didn't play games. She asked how my day was and actually cared about the answer. She didn't try to fix me. She let me fix myself. And when I told her everything, the whole messed up Amber saga, she didn't look at me with pity. She looked at me with respect. Said, "You've been through war, and you still show up with kindness. That says everything." That hit hard. I'm not saying Emily's the love of my life. I'm not saying I'm ready for fairy tales. But for the first time in a long time, I feel like I'm not bleeding anymore. I'm just alive. And that's enough. You know what's wild? Once you survive someone like Amber, you don't just rebuild, you evolve. There's this version of you that's born from the wreckage. A version that doesn't flinch anymore. A version that doesn't explain itself to people who never deserved a front row seat to your life. A version that's dangerous in the best way. That's where I was. Rebuilding didn't mean pretending like nothing happened. It meant finally learning to protect the parts of me I used to give away so easily, my time, my energy, my damn peace. Before Amber, I was a fixer. If someone had a problem, I made it mine. If someone cried, I bent backward to make them smile again. But now I knew better. I started saying no. No to people who only showed up when they needed something. No to apologizing for having boundaries. No to ever accepting half love. People noticed the shift. Even my friends were like, "Dude, you're different." Damn right I was. I wasn't cold. I was careful. I wasn't heartless. I was healed. I started hitting the gym again, not to glow up for anyone else, but because I liked the way I felt pushing iron instead of pushing away my pain. I started dressing better, eating cleaner, sleeping deeper, There's something powerful about taking care of yourself after someone else tried to ruin you. Even my money game got sharper. Started freelancing on the side. Invested. Saved. Funny how your whole life levels up when you stop pouring energy into people who drain you. And Emily? She never asked me to be someone I wasn't. She just showed up. Consistently. Gently. It was weird at first, being with someone who didn't need saving. Someone who didn't make me question if I was good enough. But it was also healing. She never flinched at my darkness. Never judged my past. Never made me feel like I was hard to love. That kind of peace? It's scary when you're used to chaos. But I leaned into it anyway. And yeah, sometimes I'd catch myself thinking about Amber. Not in a bitter way. More like looking at an old scar and remembering how bad it used to hurt. I didn't wish her pain. But I also didn't wish her well. Some people don't need karma. They just need distance. And I was more than happy to give her both. The rebuild wasn't just about healing from her. It was about becoming a version of myself that no one like her could ever reach again. Not even close. That's the beauty of being broken. You don't just put yourself back together. You redesign the damn blueprint. You know what's funny? Amber still hasn't blocked me. After everything, she's still there, floating somewhere in the digital void, ghost following my life. Watching me post pictures at the beach, laughing with friends, lifting more, smiling more. Sometimes I see her name in the viewed list on my stories. And I can't lie, it makes me grin. Not out of spite. Not because I miss her. But because I know exactly what she's thinking. She's wondering how I survived. How I moved on. How the man she thought she destroyed is now living better, looking better, feeling untouchable. And that's the thing. She didn't just fail to break me, she built me. Accidentally, of course. But still. Without Amber, I wouldn't be here. Wouldn't have this fire. Wouldn't know what to protect. Wouldn't know what kind of boundaries to build. I want her to remember that once she had someone real. I'm not perfect now. Not some saint who rose above everything. But I am real. We don't stay where we aren't respected. Sometimes pain's the best teacher. It rips you open, throws you face first into the dirt, and forces you to rise with stronger bones. People ask me if I hate her. I don't. Because hate still gives her power. I feel nothing. And that nothing is louder than any revenge I could have plotted. I don't want her to suffer. I just want her to remember. Every time she meets someone new. Every time she lies. Every time she wonders why no one stays. And she played herself. You don't get too many chances like that in life. And once you mess them up, you don't get them back. And real people? We don't beg to be seen. We don't try to convince people that we're worth loving. We leave. We heal. And we come back as storms. Amber? She was the lesson. But I became the standard. No more chasing people who make me feel replaceable. No more explaining my worth. No more making space for liars wearing pretty smiles. Now, I love harder, but only when it's safe. I trust slower, but I still believe in good people. And I walk taller, not because I've never been broken, but because I put myself back together, piece by piece, stronger than before. I sat alone the other night, lights off, just me, the silence, and the low hum of the city outside my window. And for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel broken. I didn't feel like the guy who got played. I didn't feel like the victim in a messy love story. I felt proud. Not because I got revenge. Not because I exposed Amber or outplayed her. But because I made it out and made it better. She freed me. She showed me everything I was tolerating. Every piece of myself I was giving away too easily. Every boundary I let slide. She was the storm. But I became the builder. And now? Because when someone loves you, they don't drain you. They don't lie, disappear, come back, take, steal, smile while stabbing. No. It doesn't leave bruises. It holds you without asking for a piece of your soul in return. So to anyone watching this who's ever been where I was, lost, confused, used, hurt, let me tell you something. You don't owe anyone your silence. Now I walk different. I love different. I see people for who they really are, not who I want them to be. I don't fall for words anymore. I watch patterns. I trust energy. And most of all, I trust myself. Amber taught me a lot. Not about love, but about self-respect. Real love heals. You don't owe anyone your forgiveness. You don't have to be the bigger person if being big means shrinking yourself. You're allowed to cut people off. You're allowed to move on without warning. You're allowed to rise unapologetically. Because surviving someone who tried to destroy you? That's power. But rebuilding yourself so hard that they can never reach you again? That's legendary. Amber will always be a part of my story. But she'll never be the author again. I took the pen back. And now? I write my own ending. Stronger. Louder. Smarter. She made my life hell. but I turned it into a fire so bright, she'll see the glow from wherever she runs next. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you. That's free and only way to support us.